The story begins with a woman named Anne sitting inside a church. Her mother-in-law, Morwen, is right beside her. The father gives everyone a blessing, praying that God protect them and their husbands in battle. Anne and Morwen meet a pregnant woman inside the church. But while no one's looking, Morwen steals the woman's jewelry. And just as they're leaving, Anne spots a knight on horseback riding in the distance. Life has been tough for Anne and Morwen. Even though they share dinner together, Anne still eats again after Morwen falls asleep. That night, Anne dreams of two childhood friends. The next morning, Morwen heads to the market with the vegetables Anne had grown and the jewelry she stole from the pregnant woman. She plans to barter them for bread. Morwen tells Anne that her son chose well when he picked a wife. But then Anne has another dream. This time, her husband Seamus, who left for battle, has come back. But before he can reach her, he grabs his head and starts screaming for help. Anne wakes up. Morwen returns from the market with just one onion. Anne is happy to see it, but when she cuts it open, it's rotten inside. Morwen tosses it aside and says she doesn't mind. She says she's got her sweet Anne, and that the Virgin will provide what they need to fill their bellies. But Anne breaks down crying. She had believed her husband would have returned by now. Morwen tells her that he will have to put an end to this curse of poverty, and that she should have faith in his ambition. The next day, while stepping outside, Anne hears a man singing. She recognizes him. It's Iago. She asks if he's come back, if the war is over, and where her husband is. Iago sits in their home, eating, and explains that he and Seamus got fed up with the war and decided to desert. He says he's a fisherman, not a soldier. In war, they'd kill people, people would kill them, and none of it would change anything. It wouldn't stop the fighting. So they agreed to leave one night while the captains were asleep. But on the road, they were attacked by thieves. The thieves killed Seamus. Iago says he was his dearest friend. Morwen asks if he saw it happen, how Seamus died. Iago tells her they split him from neck to navel, and breaks down sobbing. She walks to the seaside and mourns Seamus. He was one of her closest childhood friends. And now he's gone. That same night, deep in the woods, the same knight on horseback is roaming through the darkness. Morwen is wide awake. She tells Anne that her son is not coming back, and that Anne has been left childless. They are truly alone now. She asks what they'll do. Morwen walks out of the house in tears. Some time later, a young man washes up on the shore, barely surviving a crashed boat. His companions are all dead, and before he can even catch his breath, someone comes up behind him and stabs him. The killer is Morwen. She calls Anne out to the shore. Morwen has stolen their money and tells Anne they drown like the others. Anne kneels down and begins to pray for them. Morwen plans to sell their valuables. She tells Anne that God smashed those pirates against their rocks for their benefit. That night, they finally have a proper meal. But the next day, Anne spots the knight again. Terrified, she rushes back inside and tells Morwen about it. Morwen dismisses her, saying there's no one out there, calling her a silly child. The scene shifts to Iago. He runs into and on the road and asks how she's doing. He tells her she shouldn't be walking out here alone and offers to walk with her. But Anne refuses, saying she'll be safe and that she shouldn't be walking with a man who isn't her husband. Iago reminds her that her husband is dead. He follows her all the way back to the house and greets Morwen. But neither Morwen nor Iago are fond of each other. Later, Morwen tells Anne she never liked that boy. She says he always had a jealous look about him, even as a child, always following Seamus around with an angry look in his eye. But Anne doesn't see it that way. She says they were close friends before she married Seamus, and that Iago isn't evil. Morwen replies that evil is not always obvious. She says demons walk the earth in the shape of men. She tells Anne to stay with her and she'll have nothing to fear. But if she disobeys, the knights of hell will drag her down into the pit. Anne is shaken by those words. The next day, when Anne returns home, she finds a father sitting inside. Morwen offers him the last of their food. And then the father asks for something to drink as well. The father eats all of their food right in front of them. Then he starts showing them some relics. One of them is a feather pen, but he won't even let Anne touch it. He says 3 silver pieces, special price for such a faithful flock. Morwen tells him they don't have any money, and right then she realizes something. No one knows this father is back from his travels yet. He's supposed to be heading to London. Before leaving, he begins to give Anne a blessing. And that's when Morwen comes up from behind and slits his throat, and is frozen in shock. She asks Morwen what she's done. She says he was a holy man. Morwen says he wasn't. She calls him a false pretender. She says these items will feed them through the winter. Morwen and dump the father's body into the river and let it wash away. That night, Morwen tells that his heart had been claimed by Mammon, by the lusty desire for material wealth and shiny objects, and says she doesn't know if they did the right thing. Morwen replies that all that matters is that they survive. She warns to stay away from lust as well. She says she couldn't bear the thought of burning in hell, where she would never be reunited with her son, who is sitting in heaven. The next day, goes out looking for Morwen. Deep in the woods, a man is sitting alone, and out of nowhere, the knight rides up from behind and kills him, and sees it and runs. Up ahead, she finds Yago. She tells him there's a demon. He wears a suit of armor and rides a white horse. Yago asks why a demon would need a horse. He says it must be some soldier traveling through, and is terrified. She says not to mock her, that she's afraid of what might happen. She doesn't want to be marked by a knight of hell. Yago tells her not to fall for Morwen's words. He says she's just trying to scare her, and insists that hell is real. Yago says he's seen hell. He says hell is the war between the rich men and the blood they spill. Then his tone shifts. He tells that this moment, right here, is also real. He says he wants her and she wants him. He asks her to come to him tonight. He promises there will be no demons to haunt her. On her way back, sees Morwen dressed in rich clothes, eating raw flesh. But it's only a dream. Wakes up and sees Morwen fast asleep. She quietly slips out of the house and makes her way through the woods to Yago. The two of them kiss. Night turns to morning. Yago asks to come live with him, and says she can't because Morwen needs her. Yago warns her that Morwen will drain every bit of life out of her, but goes back anyway. She lies down in bed, and then Morwen asks her where she's been. Morwen tells that she is her angel, sent to care for her in her son's absence. She says she doesn't want to be alone. The next night, stands in the path of a traveler. When the traveler asks her what she's doing out here, Morwen comes up from behind and slits his throat. They begin looting the body, and that's when finds a small toy horse. The moment she sees it, she's reminded of the knight's horse. The next day, and Morwen head out to sell the stolen goods. Deep in the woods, the knight is sitting quietly, cleaning his sword. They make their way to the church. The pregnant woman from before has already given birth, and walks over and places the toy horse in the baby's hands. Later, when they're back home, Yago shows up. He tells Morwen that is young and strong and that she can bear a child. He asks if Morwen would really take that from her. Morwen says yes, 1,000 times yes. She says she would gladly deny him the pleasure of Anne's body. She raises a hatchet to his throat. Yago backs away and calls out that he'll wait for Anne, and breaks down crying. Morwen reminds her once again that she is her son's wife, that Morwen is her responsibility, and goes to the church alone and weeps. She says her heart is torn and that she's hungry all the time for things she has lost. That night, gets herself ready. She checks to make sure Morwen is asleep, then slips away to Yago. The two of them run through the woods together like they used to as children. But the closeness between them now is far more than childhood. Meanwhile, Morwen's eyes snap open. She goes outside looking for Anne. She hears the sound of the knight approaching from behind and hides. The knight rides toward their house. Morwen grips a knife, ready to strike. But the knight reaches the door and turns back around. Morwen follows him. The knight looks injured, struggling to stay upright. Not far from there, Yago and are together. The knight tries to push forward in their direction, but he collapses to the ground. Morwen rushes in from behind and stabs him. The knight tries to crawl away, but Morwen pins him down, presses against his throat, and kills him. Morwen pulls off the knight's mask. The scene shifts to the next morning, where Anne and Yago are together, and is lost in thought. She tells him that yesterday she looked upon a lady happy with her newborn child, and she was filled with a terrifying greed. She says she wants what that woman has. Yago asks her why she shouldn't. He tells her to leave Morwen and come live with him. He says he needs a wife, and she has no husband, and smiles and calls him a greedy man. The two of them kiss. and goes back to Morwen and tells her she's decided to live with Yago and be his wife. She says she was content to stay by Morwen's side because she was her husband's mother, but Seamus is gone now. Morwen snaps. She tells and not to say his name. She says and will burn with the rest of them. The Knights of Hell will come for her. She warns that and cannot abandon her duty without consequences. And runs. She makes it to Yago and tells him she will not live under Morwen's thumb any longer. But that night, and starts having nightmares about the knight killing her. The next morning, she asks Yago to come with her to the sermon. But during the service, Yago is yawning the whole time. When evening comes, he tells her it's time to head back. But and is still praying for Morwen and Seamus. Yago says Seamus is dead and in the dirt. He says Rotherham's men smashed his head in and left him to die. And stops cold. She reminds him that before he said thieves killed Seamus. Yago brushes it off and asks what it matters. And tells him she wants the truth. Yago starts saying that he's always loved her and that now she can be truly his. But and insists on knowing the truth. Yago finally tells the truth. He says Seamus changed while he was away. His ambition to become wealthy grew and grew. He started killing people and stealing their money. But then the knight showed up. One night, while Yago and Seamus were sleeping, the knight came for them. A fight broke out between Seamus and the knight. Seamus killed him. And this is where it all comes together. Morwen has the knight's mask. The knight she killed was none other than Seamus. Because after killing the knight, Seamus put the mask on himself. Seamus had come back home. But his own mother murdered him. We see that once Seamus put on the mask, he couldn't take it off no matter how hard he tried. His head started throbbing with pain. And that's when Yago abandoned him and ran. And tells Yago that Morwen was right. He always was a jealous boy. She walks away from him. But up ahead, she finds the father's dead body lying on the ground. The knight killed him. And sees the knight and runs. She goes straight to Morwen's house. But Morwen isn't there. Because now she is the knight. Morwen is screaming, trying to rip the mask off. She's begging and for help. But no matter how hard and pulls, the mask won't come off. She runs inside the house and grabs a cross. When she strikes the mask with it, the mask finally breaks free. But Morwen's entire face is now covered in deep marks. She tells and she's sorry. She says she needs her. She begs for forgiveness. But right then, the mask fuses back together on its own. A shadow appears in the smoke. The two of them rush inside the house. The shadow circles around the outside, slamming against the door. But when and opens the door, all that's left is the mask lying on the ground. Morwen tells her not to touch it, and says no, it has no power over her. Sometime later, Yago comes to see and she tells him she will not be his or hers. She doesn't belong to anyone. Yago tries to win her over. But when she refuses, he turns on her and starts calling her names. And goes back to Morwen. She's taking care of her now. Deep in the woods, and has hidden the mask. She picks it up. Whispers fill the air around her. And with that, the story comes to an end. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.